simulcast, the Neil Haley Show, and the Cutting Edge Benefits podcast with our host, Tom Quigley of ClaimLinx. Hey, Tom, what's up, man? I know you have a
Not
great guest for
much.
today.
Not much. Just hanging out.
So who's our guest today?
I got Clint Cornell, runs a direct primary care
Awesome.
outfit in
Okay.
Cincinnati. And Louis, are you still in Louisville with Phoenix
No, we're
MD?
up. Yeah, we're based out of Cincinnati, Ohio now.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep, Clint's in Cincinnati, and I use direct primary care through Clint's organization, and thought he would be a good guest because businesses should be all over what they're doing.
All right. So tell us about it, Clinton, how you got
Yeah,
started in it.
right. Thanks, guys, for having me. Yeah, so direct primary care started, I'm not sure how long ago it started, probably 15, 20 years ago. And it's essentially healthcare through a membership. So we always tell people think of Netflix for healthcare. Think of having a, a doctor in the family. So instead of using health insurance to bill for services, we offer primary care, which is your family medicine services, through a flat monthly fee. Ours at Phoenix MD starts at around $50 if you're under age 35, so $50 a month for young people, and then it goes to $75 a month if you're over 35. And you can add your family for $115 a month. And essentially, what you receive in exchange for that monthly fee is unlimited access to a healthcare team, your doctor, PAs, nurse practitioners, nurses, functional health coaches. You can text for care, you can call, you can email, you can video chat, or you can come into the office in person as often as you need to for no extra cost. And then we've taken it a step further and offer most in-house procedures or diagnostic testing at really no extra cost. So if you need a minor surgery that we can do in the office, a joint injection, stitches, a cast, if you need an EKG or a lung function test or a pregnancy test in the office, a strep throat test, all of that is offered at no extra cost. It's all bundled into that $50, $75 or $115 a month. And then without trying to get too confusing, we offer special discounts for other services people might need, such as laboratory testing, diagnostic imaging, screening tests, and even specialist referrals. So oftentimes our members pay 75 to maybe 90% less using our prices for those services that aren't included in the membership than what they would pay using their insurance, or certainly what they would pay out of pocket as a cash pay patient.
Wow. So it's
Yeah, it's a lot.
And as speaking on experience, you can get a physical with actual blood tests that aren't just basic. And what would cost you a couple thousand if you went through insurance, because it wouldn't be considered preventative, cost me roughly $100 using the same labs that the insurance company uses.
Yeah, yeah. It's amazing when people start to realize just how inflated the cost for healthcare is when you move into the insurance world. Each insurance plan has a special fee schedule, and you're locked into that when you lay that Anthem Blue Cross or Humana or
Huh.
United Healthcare card down.
Do you only work with employees, Clint, or self-employed too, people like for the direct primary care?
Yeah, we work with individuals, families that may not have benefits through their employer. We work with self-employed, independent contractors, people in the gig economy. We work with small business owners, and frankly, we work with companies up to around, I think, our largest is around 500 employees.
So Tom, adding that to ClaimLinx stuff is pretty good, right?
Yeah, I mean, in direct primary care, you simply add it as a benefit where the employer pays a monthly fee on your behalf, and you can use those services at lower cost than if you design it with the regular insurance. Yeah, and the insurance is still in place. You're using them to save money on claims such as diagnostic testing and blood work. It's just amazing the inflated costs that happen in the healthcare industry. And direct primary care, it's also, they sit there and they talk to you for a half hour versus hi, your number. If we got to go, bye.
And what area? So, what areas of the country do you serve, Clint, for this? For the
We're mainly in the Cincinnati, Indiana, Kentucky, in those markets. We can spread out really anywhere across the country. We have a model that's very replicable. We can open a practice in about 30 to 60 days. So if there's an employer out there or a group of employers that are looking for something like what we offer through Phoenix MD, as long as we have, we like to see at least 200 to 250 memberships, we can open a practice. So
I got it.
Yep. Yep. Direct primary care is a smart move for people who are fed up with the rigmarole of the insurance. You go and you get a test and you're like, why is this not considered preventative? I'll give you an example. Diabetes. A lot of times they would test glucose, but they won't do the A1C. And you sit there and you're like, how is that not part of it? It's the more important test. It's just how it is. So you get all the, I just had my PSA test the other day. It cost me $14. And what would that cost if it was insurance, Clint? 100, 150?
Yeah, I think average insurance rate is upper 90s, so close to $100. Yep. One of the things that we are able to do because we have such great laboratory, we can measure that A1C in the diabetic or even the pre-diabetic as often as they need it done, and it really doesn't drive cost at the end of the year. I think our A1C cost is like $8. So, versus 50 or 60 on the insurance. And then with PSA, that's an interesting test because we don't do just a plain PSA. No. We do what's called it's an advanced PSA test. So we look at something called the % free and the total PSA, and it essentially gives us a much more accurate look at the risk of prostate cancer. And we're able to pick up cancers much earlier than you would otherwise just running the old standard PSA test. So
right. Yep. It's very it's a quite frankly a no-brainer. If you're going to, especially if you're my age, 57, you need a physical a year, you need to get tests, and I see no reason why anyone wouldn't encourage. Plus, the insurance doesn't find out about these tests you're having done, which keeps your costs down because that's how they find out all about the diabetics and all that other good stuff.
Yeah, that's a great point.
The whole game is a racket, right?
Yeah. Yeah. DPC, because it's, one flat fee, we aren't submitting any claims that, no one knows that you had this huge elaborate lab panel done or that you had 20 visits with your doctor this year. So there's no claims. There's no rationale to jack your rates up next year. They still will, but they have less rationale.
Yeah, it's all a game.
Yeah.
And Clint's figured out a side of the game, and good for him. And I'd encourage anyone to consider direct primary care, no matter where you are. I have also one in Florida. It makes a lot of sense.
And are there a lot of those direct primary cares, Clint, out all over the country?
Yeah, so direct primary care, it's the fastest growing segment of private practice in the, in the healthcare ecosystem. There are over 3,500 practices across the country, and they are growing like crazy. So, people are catching on to, the fact that the traditional model is a rigged system, and it only benefits a couple select groups, and the patient is not one of them.
Where do you see your
That,
pro?
yeah,
Go ahead, Tom.
Clint told me a good story about, we won't get into the company, but what was it? They were paying 1.2 million to labs, and
Yeah,
with the
so
same exact labs, same exact company doing the labs, it was 46,000. So they would save
yeah,
over $1 million, and they thought that sounded too good to be true, and they wouldn't do it, even though it's the same exact lab company. Because the lab companies charge a fee for their services, that's it, and then the insurance companies inflate it.
yeah,
And
yeah,
these folks
yeah,
literally wouldn't
billion
listen to
dollars.
them. Yeah.
That's
It's like, here's $1
crazy.
million, and they wouldn't accept it because their agent or whoever, whatever knucklehead was advising them. Unbelievable.
Yep, yep,
But
Because
this
the
happens all the time.
yeah,
yep.
because the additional costs that come out are crazy, aren't they? The
Well,
additional
MRIs are a big scam too. The hospitals charge 2,000, and you can get it done for 2, 3, 400. And you guys have discounts for that too, don't you, Clint?
We do. Our members pay around $400 for an MRI. One, since we're on imaging, we have a service that will perform X-rays and ultrasounds, including echocardiograms, which is a ultrasound of your heart, and they'll travel right to your home and perform the test there. And it's our members pay between $250 and $350 for the ultrasound or echo, and an X-ray is about $150 for any X-ray series done at your home.
wow.
Yeah, my brother-in-law just had an echocardiogram done at one of the local hospitals, and he got a bill for $8,000. So I think his insurance paid 6,500, and he was expected to pay the rest. So, um, which is just insane to me. But
Yeah. I mean, if I was a doctor, you have two choices: sell to the hospital, work for them, or do it on your own and and make your own money. And that's a smart way to do it, because you're able to do the tests that you want done, and you don't have to beg the insurance companies to approve it.
yeah, we always, part of our marketing language is that we don't ask permission to treat patients the right way, and it's really frustrating when you're in that insurance world, how often the care that the doctor wants to provide, they're not able to. They're handcuffed because the insurance company doesn't want to approve it. So
Right. And
You're
then
not behind the wheel, are you, Clint?
I am not. I have my
Good. We don't
beautiful
want we
wife
don't want a
chauffeuring
tiger.
me.
yeah, I was wondering if he was I've done a
Yeah,
podcast
we
driving
don't want
before.
another tiger incident.
Yeah,
So
Good.
I,
And see,
no, we're good. We're good.
yeah,
Clint's smarter than Tiger.
have,
He
yeah.
gets drivers.
Just, but I ended up, I've driven and done podcasts, but they were more radio ones back in the day where I would just be doing an interview with somebody driving. But no, it's not good. And it
Good
looked like you
time.
were, Clint. I just said, man, you're a busy guy.
No,
He's
no,
out trying to get
I've got
people,
the chauffeur, so we're good. Yeah,
he's patriotic too. So
yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I got
All
that.
right. Well, thank you.
Where's the best place we can find info on you, Clint?
Yeah, so we've Phoenix MD in Cincinnati, Ohio. We've got a website. It's phoenixmd.net. So PHOENIXMD.net. Or you can give us a call at 888-926-6398.
All right. That was great stuff, Clint. We appreciate it. And it definitely,
Thanks.
if you contact ClaimLinx today, if you're a business, he can set you up, right, Tom? With
Oh,
that,
absolutely.
adding, that's exactly. All right. Well, appreciate it, guys. Go to claimlinx.com. And that was a special simulcast, the Neil Haley Show on the Cutting Edge Benefits Podcast. Guys, take care.
Thank you.